This is Politically Incorrect, the largest German-language non-mainstream information weblog with more than 100,000 daily users. www.pi-news.net. I am speaking to the renowned Dutch politician Geert, who is here in Vienna, guest of the FPÖ, the Austrian Freedom Party, to explain some truths about the critical condition in Europe due to the reluctance and cowardice of the present politicians in power. As an Islam-critical politician, you carry also a heavy personal burden. How are you still alive, Mr. Wilders?
Well, maybe allow me first to give some well-meant compliments to pi.net. I look at it all the time. It's one of the few honest and brave websites, politically incorrect, in the world, in Europe. So let me please be so humble to give the compliments to you and your team to do all this excellent work. And I'm alive, I'm still alive because I'm fortunately well protected, not because I changed my tune or not speak the truth anymore. I do even more than that in the past, but luckily I have, as here in Vienna today, a lot of protection, and I think that is one of the reasons that even though I am on a death list from Al-Qaeda and the Pakistani Taliban, I'm still alive and fighting, as we all should.
Well, thank you very much also for the compliments to PI, which is highly appreciated by our users. But please now summarize the key political statements to the PI users here, because we must expect that the press will not report in an unbiased way about your appearance in Vienna and about your politics.
Well, the most important thing, the reason that I get up every day, that I get into my armored cars and go to the Dutch Parliament or travel to wherever in the world, today to Vienna, is that we have to win the war against Islam. Islam has declared war on us, and we should act as if it's a war. So we first, and that's my main policy, the Western politicians should acknowledge the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room that gives us all the trouble is not radical Islam or Islamism, Islam, and nothing else is the problem. So we should fight the Islam. We should de-Islamize our societies, which means that I don't want any more mosques in the Western world. I do not want any more Islamic schools. I want to stop of the immigration from Islamic countries. I want jihadists, or people who don't abide by our laws and our constitution, to be sent packing away out of our countries. And at the end of the day, I want our culture that is based on Christianity and Judaism and humanism to prevail over the barbarous religion, ideology called Islam.
How has, if at all, referring to what you have just said, changed the immigration and Islamization in your own country, the Netherlands, with a new Prime Minister and his center-left government? Anything to the better?
Yes, it changed for the better. Maybe not the policy, you know. The politicians in Europe, my own Prime Minister in the Netherlands, Mr. Rutte, but also Angela Merkel in Germany, the French President, or Mr. even Obama, the President of the United States. If an atrocity, if a terroristic act is being committed in the last few months, in the last year, they all run to the TV cameras and they say it has nothing to do with Islam. Islam is a religion of peace. So unfortunately, very few things changed for the better. One thing changed though, and that is that the public, and not only the viewers of pi.net, but all over Europe, all over the free Western world, are not fooled anymore. With every beheading, with every atrocity, with every terroristic attack, they know what Islam stands for. The eyes of the people are open. They are not fooled as easily as they were in the past. So the policies have not changed that much, unfortunately, but the people have woken up, and it's a matter of time that the policies, at the end of the day, will change. We have no alternative.
Your joint appearance with the FPÖ here in Vienna shows that lucid European conservatives will have to initiate a change in immigration, Islamization in the European Union, and for safe border policies. How far are you with initiating a European cooperation in those fields?
Of course, we are working not only in Europe with parties like Front National, the Lega Nord, the FPÖ here in Vienna, but also all around the world. From America to Australia, we are trying to get together with friends and to really stop the Islamization. And you are talking about border control. And this is one of the most serious issues today. We see in Europe today that the asylum seeker numbers got more than 600,000 only in Europe in the last year. And the guy in charge of Frontex, which is a bureaucratic European organization for border control, they said that alone from Libya this year, almost between 500,000 and 1 million refugees will come. Asylum seekers will come. And we all know that ISIS promised that they will put terrorists between them. So there is a catastrophe coming to Europe, a catastrophe of numbers that we really, and terrorists among the asylum seekers that we cannot deal with. So what I advocate, I did it today in Austria, I do it again in my own country, I do it everywhere in the Schengen area, that we should leave Schengen. We should reinstate our own border controls. The European borders are weak. They are totally uncontrolled. 100,000 people are coming, and we really cannot afford it. So my policy is that we should not stop terrorists for leaving and fighting jihad in Syria. I would advocate, let them go. Let them bring all their family, all their friends. The sooner the better. Let them go, but let them never return. And in order to do that, we have to strip them of our national identity and our nationality, and we should reinstate border controls, leave Schengen, and then make sure that our people are safe again.
The nowadays very often called lying media, in German Lügenpresse, mainstream media, press outlets, do not spare any effort to contort your politics and opinions. How do you explain that phenomenon, and how can you and your party cope with that in ways of a counter-strategy?
Well, I think we should have a lot of media ourselves. Like your own internet site, once again, like here, a good example for me, I can learn here from the FPÖ TV, a very professional television station through the internet, made up by the Austrian FPÖ party itself, but also to travel around the world, you know. Mr. Strache, the leader of the FPÖ, and myself, we had a press conference today in the Parliament of Vienna, and the room was packed with journalists from Associated Press, from Reuters to all the media, public and commercial in Austria. So if we have something to say, because don't forget, we represent millions of people. Millions of people vote for parties like Front National or the FPÖ or my Party for Freedom, and the press is interested. And this is what we should do, even though they can take you to court, even though they can call you a bigot, which we are not, even though you can get a fatwa. We have to speak the truth. And what I said today to the public in my speech here in Vienna, to the audience, is that everybody has that task. Everybody, also your viewers, have the task to inform their friends, their colleagues, their families, their neighbors about the real nature and the threat of Islam, if they want to stay free, if they want their children to be free, and if they want their country to stay free.
It is mainly the internet which gives often valid and true reports about you and your party, also through this weblog Politically Incorrect. The situation in Germany is even more precarious, as the political correctness is there additionally fueled by history. What would be your best advice for Germany, which does not have a successful FPÖ or a Party for Freedom like the Netherlands?
Oh, you're right. I spoke in Germany, I think 4 or 5 years ago, for a new party that started, but unfortunately was not successful in Germany, a kind of freedom party in Berlin. And my speech there was again that get rid of your history. It's nothing wrong for a German to be proud of their country. Nationalism is something entirely different than fascism. So I know the history of Germany. I know it's more difficult for them to start a party. But Germans should be proud of their German identity. They should be proud of their German national identity. And they should get rid of feelings of guilt. The current generation in Germany has nothing to be ashamed of. They have to be proud, they have to stand up. They have a lot of immigration, maybe even more than many other European countries. From Turkey, from any other country, they have a lot of problems. Speak out, and one thing, because it will not be easy, they will be labeled as racist, they might be taken to court. Be brave, because you will never have to be ashamed for telling the truth, and a proud German is something to be proud of.
You also mentioned that Europe has to stand by Israel as the Western democratic civilization outpost. Why do you think so, and does it not make you unpopular with right-wing parties in Europe?
Sometimes it does, but I don't care. You know, the principle may have a price. And I believe that Israel is a canary in the coal mine. Israel is fighting our fight. Israel is the only democracy, is the only country with the same values as we in the West have, that is fighting the jihad. The jihadists are fighting against Israel. And I believe that if we don't support Israel, we will pay the price ourselves. They are our brothers. We are all Israel. If Jerusalem falls, Rome will fall, Berlin will fall, Vienna will fall, Amsterdam will fall. So they are our brothers, they share our culture, they fight our fights. I often say that parents in Europe, they can sleep at night still, because the parents in Israel are laying awake because their children are in the army fighting against the jihad. They do it for us, so let's support them.
What is now and here through this large German language non-mainstream information weblog pi-news.net your best political and personal advice to your numerous fans in the German-speaking part of Europe?
Well, my only advice, first I like to thank them all, because I'm merely an instrument. They do the work. And what I said, be brave, stand up and tell the truth. Never accept that Islam will have more ground on the European soul. This Islam declared war on us. We have to fight back, we have to tell the truth, we have to pay a price, and we have to be brave. And my message to all those people is, please stay brave. We can win as long as we are brave.
Politically Incorrect, the largest German language non-mainstream information weblog, www.pi-news.net, expresses our gratitude for this interview after a long and exhausting day, and wishes you politically and personally all the best.
Thank you so much, and it was an honor again to be on your show.